All right. Well, I'm gonna dive into the content. We normally have a whole whack of people here, but right now it's just you and I, and that's fine. We'll go ahead and get started. So friends that are just joining, hello, I'm Lindsay Johnson, aka the Radical Connector, and I am a nerd for all things entrepreneurship, business development, anti-capitalism, liberation, and specifically how we can use entrepreneurship to liberate ourselves and others from harmful systems of oppression. How we can use entrepreneurship to bring our vision for a more compassionate, equitable, better world for all of us. How we use entrepreneurship to really bring that vision into life. And one of the things that's really important to me is the way that we link arms in that movement, link arms in community care, in connection, and in working together. You know, entrepreneurship is hard and a heavy lift, but so is life. And we are sold this concept of hyper individualism, right, or rugged individualism, and it's just so fake. It's so false. It's so not real. How we have thrived as a species and evolved as a species is through collaboration, is through community. And entrepreneurship provides a really profound opportunity to create community, and to lift each other up, to support each other. And so how do we take entrepreneurship, the act of taking our brilliance, making it into a business and making money, all things we want, but how do we move beyond that? How do we also use entrepreneurship to create a cool world? So those are the things that I'm obsessed with. I'm also obsessed with things like powerlifting and fitness and Survivor. If any Survivor fans out there, holy smokes, this week's tribal council was wild. Happy to talk about it. What else? Horror movies, sci-fi, going to the beach, brunch with my friends. What are you guys into? Tell me what you're into. Besides your business, what else are you into? Let's get to know each other. Hey, Johnsy, how are you? Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. Welcome. How's the candle biz? Oh, Kyla, you can't hear the audio. I think you're the only one. Uh, Only one, Kyla. Yeah, so it looks like other folks can hear. So, Kyla, hopefully you can get it turned on. That's like one of my most, I'm not going to say my worst fears, but one of my, like, it is a fear when I'm on here creating content, is that people can't hear and I'm just talking and all you see is, and that has actually happened before. All right. Tell me what you're into. Tell me what you're nerd about. I'd love to get to know a little bit about you and what your current nerdy obsessions are. Tell me in the chat. Happy Friday! And then I want to get into today's content. I have a lot of great notes for us. The whole focus for today is looking at when it is time to take a leap in our businesses and when we need to take a step back and reassess. And specifically, I want to talk about where we can look at how we're making a strategic decision to pause or a strategic decision to leap, or we're having a insecure or imposter syndrome pause, a pause based on fear, or we're leaping even based on fear, because we do that as well, right? And so I want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some like how to have, I have a decision matrix here for you, some questions to ask yourself to help you know when to leap and when to pause. Okay, good, Kylie. You joined on your phone. Fantastic. Penny, I watch entirely too much TV, both UK, North American content. Starting to learn a bit more of astrology. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Nice. And yes, woot for Friday. So let's talk about this first question. I want to hear, do you have a decision to make in your business that you're currently feeling stuck on? Is there a jumping off point in your business right now where you can either move forward or you could potentially hold back? Are you dealing with that right now? Do you have a decision to make or an action to take that you're feeling sticky around? Tell me in the comments. Let's hear. What is a decision or an action that you are maybe avoiding or you just can't see clearly? Okay, Bree, so you're hang on. Totally paralyzed right now. Oi. Yes. Yes. So if you want to share it, you can share it. If you want to just write it down and let's work through it together. It's regarding my website and its launch. Okay. All right. So as I said, write that down. Let's kind of go through this together. So let's talk first of all about why we do get stuck, right? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Common reasons we get stuck. We have obviously fear of failure, right? That's a huge one. We have fear of failure, we have perfectionism, right? We have imposter syndrome, lack of clarity. Sometimes we even have things like overwhelm, executive dysfunction, right? Sometimes it's legitimately a time and capacity thing. Sometimes it's related to skills. We can't do it ourselves. So hey Justine, what are some of your reasons that you get stuck in not being able to move forward? We have trying to focus full time on business, but can't quit my job yet. Yeah, needing to be able to manage your time effectively is a big one. And I was the same. Like I had a couple of part time gigs that I did on the side while I was getting my business going. And you need to get really good at building your business in pockets of time. Right? And you've got pockets here, pockets there, pockets here. In fact, I've had no less than 4 conversations this week with different entrepreneurs who are in that crunch space where they've got a lot of activity happening, but they're not quite at the point of being able to, let's say, hire someone to take on a lot of the work. And so they're having to juggle being in the business and on the business, right? Being a practitioner and a business owner, having to do all the things to get past that point of being able to hire someone. And so when that happens, if we can't hire someone to help us yet, that's a clue into we need to generate more revenue, right? And so whether it's a pocket of time issue or it's I have so much work to do, I can't generate revenue issue, we have to get really, really clear on our current goal and what can fall to the side, right? One of the people I was talking with, basically it was, you have 3 things to do. It's networking, getting workshops, and then booking sales calls. Like those are the 3 things. And anything outside of that, we made her a no list. Taking on new projects, creating more content, right? Like, doing this or that, whatever. We made her a no list for the next 3 to 4 months. That is off the table. You are only focusing on these things because you need to generate revenue so you can hire people to help you get to that next level, right? So it's the same with when you're still working full time and you have pockets of time. You have to think, if I want to leave my job, I need to know how to generate revenue and get sales coming in consistently and easily so I can feel confident leaving my job and doing this full time, knowing that I've got money coming in and will continue to come in and grow. So then you have to ask yourself, right, what is going to move the needle? What is going to drive sales? And everything else has to go on the back burner because you only have so much time. Does that make sense? Hey, Thriving. So we have burnout, chronic illness, disability sidelined you for the last 7 years and finally coming out of it, but reentry is brutal. Yes, and Brie, you're going to definitely be in a position where you're having to like grow that window of tolerance and grow that endurance around being able to do more, right? Because it's probably shrunk quite down, right? Also, you may not have the same capacity you once did, 5 and 10 years ago, right? And so you're going to have to play with that, and it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be what is going to move the needle. Everything else is going to have to stop for right now. Oh, you have trying to find the comments on your phone. It's okay, Justine. I'll share the comments as we go. Not wanting to make the wrong decision and waste too much time. Does anybody else feel that, right? It's like, I don't know what decision to make. So you get stuck in this like decision-making freeze because what if I make the wrong one and then I'm wasting all this time, right? We're going to talk today about making micro decisions that will hopefully help you. Penny, trying to figure out how to move forward with something I want to launch in one facet of my business. Okay, great. Let's talk about that today. Thriving is saying, Bree, feeling you on the chronic illness disability front, been managing multiple conditions for years. Yes. And friends, like all the things that I talk about in my content, right? You always have to put it through your own lens. Okay, I love what Lindsay's saying. I know it's not going to quite work for me, but how can I take the essence of that and make it work for me, right? Because I'm going to be giving advice and suggestions, but we all have different capacities, limitations, strengths, right? And so always be thinking of through the lens. How can I look at this through my lens, right? Yeah, Janzi, we have definitely imposter syndrome, perfectionism. There's two things you'll hear me talk a lot about, which is perfectionism and people pleasing, right? And how we weirdly associate that as positive qualities, but they're actually not positive qualities. They can actually become toxic qualities and manipulative qualities and really negative qualities. And so when you find yourself saying, oh, I'm a perfectionist, okay, but that's not necessarily a good thing. What is the perfectionism preventing you from doing, preventing you from achieving? Where is it holding you back, right? And where is it tricking you into thinking, if I just get it perfect, I won't fail. People can't reject me. I won't be judged. I won't be criticized, right? It keeps you in a really weird space of immobility and frozenness, right? Same with people pleasing. I saw a really great reel the other day, and it said, what if we reframe people pleasing as self-abandonment? So instead of saying, I'm such a people pleaser, saying, I am such a self-abandoner. Yeesh, right? And understanding that when we please others to our own detriment, that is, rooted in a sense of manipulation to get that sense of safety and control and lack of rejection, right? Or abandonment. So we have to look at, where am I people pleasing to my own detriment? Where am I self-abandoning? Now, it's not meant to be a call out, just an acknowledgement of these two things are universal and we have to start unpacking them, right? Justine, lack of executive functioning and prioritizing and focusing on one thing. Yup. Kyla, saying yes to gigs prematurely that might not be in alignment with my goals, letting awesome gigs fall into my lap last minute versus planning on my schedule in advance. Yes. Yes. Justine, yeah, Kyla, that's a tricky balance. Yup. Hang on. So we've got here chronic illness management is definitely a challenge too. Yeah, it's a big thing. I was chatting with someone this week who's got just a lot of life conditions happening right now. And so I had said, okay, so how many hours can you reasonably work every day on your business, right? Because we're trying to prioritize. And she had said 4. And I said, okay, and if the kids are home sick, how many hours can you work? And she said, well, 2. Okay, that's what we're working with, right? There was a really great reel, again, I saw, and it talked about how if you're somebody who deals with chronic illness or, any level of disability or, a reduced capacity, then what is expected or what is considered the norm, right? Because again, it's all so personalized. But if you have a lower capacity than what you perceive you should have or others have, when we have a good day and we're really productive, our brain tricks us into thinking that's our normal. And then therefore every other day we don't measure up to that, right? Or we try to push through to get to that, right? And so remember that having a good day is great, but if that's not your normal, then you have to bring it down to what your normal is and then think, what can I reasonably do, right? What does this say? I need to make a no-no list. Yes, let's make a no-no list. For Justine, you especially, let's make you a no-no list. In fact, everybody right now, I want you to write down that. I want you to write that down. After today, I want you to have a no-no list. When I talk about work less, play more, when I talk about eliminating busy work, it always has to be, what is my capacity? What is my goal? What moves the needle? Here's what I'm doing. Everything else can go away. Penny, chronic physical mental struggles, including anxiety about like everything, imposter syndrome, radical fluxes in energy. Exactly. Yep. Same thing over here, by the way. I have anxiety about everything. And so I have to build in buffer time for me to spiral. And then I trust that I will find my way out of it, right? Also, if we are doing things in our businesses that do cause anxiety, two things. Number one, you will be able to, hopefully you'll be able to develop a bit of a desensitization around certain things, and so the anxiety will start to lessen, hopefully. And you'll sort of expand that window of tolerance, but also you will build self-trust that you can do things even when they feel a little bit anxiety riddled, and figure out how to, like, I'll do a shake it off moment. I'll dance it out to a song. I'll go for a walk. I'll even just talk with somebody. But you'll develop your rituals to help you move through that anxiety, because anxiety will keep us trapped and keep us smaller, getting smaller and smaller, right? Our world's tinier and tinier and tinier. We can't let the anxiety win. We have to develop tools. But buffer time. I gave myself lots of buffer time, lots of transition times, What is that thing? I'm like a dog an animal that just shakes when the anxiety is there. Yeah, chronic illness management is at least a part-time job. Yeah. The goal is cubed from being a full-time job. Yeah. And one of the ways that we do that is that we don't overburden ourselves. Ditch that busy work, friends. Yeah. Yeah. What does this say? Oof. Yes, managing illness is definitely a job in itself. Yeah, it is. It is. All right. Yes, exactly. This causes burnout and affects health. Energy levels are like a roller coaster. Yeah. Right. And so I want you to accommodate for the lower energy. Don't think if you have a good day, that's my everyday. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Decision paralysis is so rare. Yeah. Or so terrible. Sorry. Yeah. Analysis paralysis is having a bit of that too. Yeah. So another thing I want you to do right now then, everybody, is I want you to write down, if you haven't already, what is the decision, like, and we're going to get into this right away. Like, what is the decision that you are over analyzing, and how can we break this down into micro decisions? And we're going to talk about that. What is this? I get to completely reinvent my work, which is thrilling and terrifying. Yes, I think I'm afraid of hitting a wall again and setting myself backwards. That's really common, especially for folks who've experienced burnout, these kinds of things. It's very common to have that fear. And so the other thing we have to get really good at is recognizing the signs when we're going that way again, and then dialing back, or recognizing sort of like the things that we know when we do these things, it will lead to this. It's just hyper self-awareness, right? Being tuned in. I was listening to a really good podcast. I'll grab it for you in a moment. The podcast is called Do You Effing Mind? I love it. And she's talking about how to move into the thing you want to become, and what keeps us stuck here versus moving forward. And a big part of that is you need to be aware. You need to stop living on autopilot. You need to tune into being aware in the present moment, because we just get onto autopilot and then we just go into status quo, right? Yeah, self-abandon and is people pleasing. Yeah. Like, literally, if you just start saying that, kick your own butts, friends. I agree. Perfectionism is like a mirage. I can never reach it. I'm trying hard to get out of that habit. Yes. Allison, thank you. I can never remember who you are, because you and I are buds on Finch, right? We send each other good vibes, follow each other on journeys, right? And also caregiving of loved ones, doing a lot of house runs and visits this season. Yeah. And same thing. I also care for a loved one, and it's a big mental and physical, I don't want to say burden, but load. We'll say a mental and physical load, especially if it's a bit of a surprise, something you sort of been thrust into, right? Brain, this is our normal. Yeah. Yup. Body next day. Ugh, what are you doing? Yep. Well, because then you get that like, oh wow, I'm so productive. I have so much energy. Let me go, go, go. And then you got 2 days of like, oh, well, now I'm exhausted. Yeah. Even when I write things down, there's a whirlwind of thoughts in my brain. Yeah. Yeah. What is this? Not used to YouTube's chat. That was supposed to be a comment. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, it's good. You're fine. What does this say? Fill you on this. My partner and I just moved in with his parents and we're trying to help them manage healthcare stuff, encouraging to make appointments, helping them. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially if you're somebody like I know I'm like this, where I have a hard enough time taking care of myself. And now I got to take care of someone else. What is this? Hey, Megan, what's up? What's up? Yeah, everything snowballs, right? What does this say? I agree, Lindsay. I notice if I'm struggling to find a solution on a certain day and I just can't figure out, next morning I wake up and find a solution without even thinking about it. Yes. Yes. And let's talk about this. Oh gosh, there's so many comments I want to talk to. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna just respond to a couple of comments here. Yeah, shake it off and take it easy some days. Yep. Decision I've been straight wrestling with for a year now is whether or not to hire a strategist in my business. Finally just said yes. I cleared this. I'm freaking ready. Hell yes. So what does hiring a strategist in your business look like? Like, are you bringing on somebody to do your business strategy, your business development, or are you hiring a consultant and then going to execute yourself? That sounded weird. You're gonna implement yourself. Yeah, see, when you make that decision, yeah, Finch is amazing. I love it. If anybody wants to be friends on Finch, let me know. I don't have a link, but I can find it for you. I'm stuck as the household manager. My partner's struggling with fatigue, overwhelm, but needs to be the contact person. Yeah. Yeah, Finch buddies. Oh my God, I'm getting the cutest clothes right now. My Finch is like rocking. I got these sunglasses that like light up. It's so cool. What's up, Emery? Emery out here crushing it. Me too. 14-year-old lab mix going through all age-related issues. Oh, surgeries, ER visits, caregivers need quality me time. It's exhausting mentally and physically. Yeah, especially when you're not getting a break. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about some of the things that are very real for you right now in decision fatigue, decision paralysis. I'm not sure on that comment or that statement. I feel like that's potentially an ableist comment to make. So I want to look for a better language around that. Actually, Megan, you might have something on that. The caregiver fatigue, the burnout, the chronic illness, right? The just the load of everything that we're carrying, and then try to be a business owner on top of that. So if you've got your question now that you're struggling with, let's talk about these issues of why we get stuck, right? So if we look at, I want to talk about this strategic waiting versus fear-based procrastination, okay? So when we look at strategic waiting, all right, this is a conscious decision to pause or delay based on data, planning, and alignment with your business goals. Fear-based procrastination is avoiding action due to self-doubt, perfectionism, or fear of failure. So let's look at some mindsets. Strategic waiting would be, I'm waiting because the timing, resources, or market conditions aren't right yet, and I don't have a clear plan. Okay. Fear-based procrastination is, I'm waiting because I'm afraid of making a mistake, looking stupid, or failing. What strategic waiting feels like: calm, intentional, strategic. I mean, I definitely can sometimes feel impatient, cloudy, because I maybe don't know the way through, but there's an intentionality there. It's an intentional decision, right? Whereas with the fear-based procrastination, it's, I'm waiting because I'm afraid of making a mistake, looking stupid, or failing, right? So the outcome of strategic waiting is that it leads to stronger, well-timed execution and implementation of your ideas, right? Fear-based procrastination outcome, it leads to missed opportunities and stagnation. And if we even took that a little bit deeper, it can lead to anxiety, depression, even further down the imposter syndrome rabbit hole, right? Because we start to judge ourselves. We start to, that fear becomes an identity, right? And this is why I am so big on letting yourselves get nudged out of your comfort zones, especially when there's anxiety and fear, because we start to wear that like an identity instead of it being a temporary state that we can prove to ourselves we can rise above and be awesome, be great, right? So what are your thoughts even on just what I said there? Are you already starting to kind of get an inclination on, am I waiting because I don't know the path forward yet? I need to work that out. Or is it fear-based procrastination? Here, what's this is? So this is the answer here, Megan. Bringing out an email strategist to teach me, then I'll implement on my own after 6 months or so of learning. Fantastic. Love that. Caregivers need quality me time. Yup. Emery is a straight boss. Yeah, they are. All right. Running late with a client, actually. Yes. Oh, no. Oh, I love this. I love the love y'all share in the comments. I'm not sure if I'm fear-based procrastination or just a bit of overwhelm. So if we take overwhelm in our lack of action and moving forward, is that overwhelm strategic or is the overwhelm, I'm just going to say this, and this is going to sound intense, and I apologize if it's triggering, self-sabotage. Is it strategic or is it self-sabotage? Because overwhelm is real, but our lack of addressing it, working with it, and moving through it, that's the part that we need to engage in. Ooh, I didn't want that to sound harsh. Tell me how that felt hearing me say that. Emery, I'm in that zone right now with my course. I'm waiting to change a few things until I get the course ready. Yeah, and I was going to talk about that myself too, right? Like that is something that I'm like, okay, I want to create this course or this 5-week program, or I don't know, even a YouTube video, whatever, but I'm going to create a course. Well, okay. I don't recommend just creating it out of the blue. We need to do some market research. We need to engage with our customers and our audience. We need to make sure that, because the thing with a course is a course has to replicate a transformation that you would normally do with somebody. It has to replicate that without you being in the room, right? So a course needs to really it needs to do a lot of things besides just disseminate information. And maybe you need to do a little bit of learning around how to be a good teacher, right? And how to create movement when you're not the one actually there talking to somebody, right? So I don't recommend just going and making a course. I do think that there are a lot of elements that you need to consider. First of all, is the course even wanted? Will people pay you for it? Are you addressing the right thing, right? So yeah, a course is a big undertaking. That's why I never recommend people start with a course as their very first thing when they're starting as a service-based business owner, right? Because there's a lot of moving parts that go into your course design, promotion, and marketing and selling, right? So it would make sense that you are in a strategic waiting period while you are gathering data. A bit of all of the above. Yeah. A fear-based procrastination on starting my podcast. Hang on, but you did start your podcast, but I fear-based procrastination. That's like what it was, because you did start it. You do have it. What am I missing? What am I missing on that comment? Allison, I'm still going, but I feel like I'm not doing enough. Okay. So this is a chance for you to jot down a couple of notes. What does enough mean? What can you define that? What is enough? And if we think again, what is my goal? What will work to move the needle? Right? What do I have capacity to do? Here's my plan. Everything else can go away. Right? I'll get to it another day. I'll hire someone eventually. Right? So if you were to define enough and then you were to say, what is my goal? What moves the needle? What is my capacity? Here's my plan. Look at the enough in there. Like that is the enough, right? You know, everyone's enough is different. You know, people are always joking around, I don't know, razzing me on like when as I do a lot, right? As I do have a big capacity. I notice it's diminished in the past few years a little, but I do have a big capacity. And so, you know, people will joke around that even when I'm resting, I'm still doing all these things. But that's, you know, my enough is different than your enough. And so you can't say what's enough based on other people. Like you have to look at your capacity. It is goal, what'll move the needle, my capacity. Those three things, make a plan, that's enough, right? Bree says, I'm with you, Allison. I know there is some fear, but I'm generally good at leaping anyways. I think I'm mostly overwhelmed. I love that. I mean, I don't love it, but I love that you've tuned into that. I'm trying not to fall too far down that rabbit hole. So again, let's take a look at that overwhelmed. Can you write down right now or share in the comments, can you pinpoint why you're feeling overwhelmed? I don't have the skills to be able to take action on this. Or my mind is a whirling tornado and I'm having a hard time distilling what's in my brain into an action plan, right? Or I don't actually know how to make it happen, right? You know, or is it I am afraid of burning out and so I keep stopping myself? Like why is that overwhelm there? Megan, I've been dealing with demand avoidance lately. Like I need to do some things, but the fact that I need to do them makes me not wanna. And if I force myself, I produce low quality work. That's a tricky one because it's good that we have the self-awareness when we know what's stopping us, and then we have to work through it, right? Then we have to go, okay, well, you know, I get that this is demand avoidance, but I can overrule that. I can overwrite that, right? But if when you overwrite it, you're creating low quality work, you know, we got to we got to address that. Like, okay, do we what helps us when we turn it into a game? When we body double with somebody, when we work on a project, when we bring on a partner or collaborator, you know, are you really driven by certain types of goals? Maybe they're financial goals, sales goals, growth goals, activity goals, right? I'm somebody who's really driven by, like, I call them process goals, not outcome goals. So financial goals don't really drive me, but process goals. So I want to, you know, have this many calls or meet this many more people, or I want to go on this many more podcasts or participate in this many bundles. Like it's like a the process of doing the activities that get me to the income. Like those are the goals that excite me, right? You know, or maybe it's growth goals. I want to get this many new email subscribers, this many more social followers, this many more customers, right? So you got to figure out what's going to drive you so that you can overwrite your stubbornness, right? That stubbornness, and you got to overwrite that with a goal that will drive you, and then trick yourself into enjoying what you like, or find out what makes you enjoy doing what you want to do, right? I just don't feel ready. Also a bit scared, overthinking about how I'll deal with orders when my work is busy. Yeah. So have you talked with anybody in a similar industry or field or business, and talked about their journey and the things that they've learned, the things, the, you know, mistakes they made, things that they would do differently? Because this is one of those things where we think we have to do it all ourselves and figure it out all ourselves, right? But there's people out there who've come before you who've done this. Have you talked to them? Get some insight, get some support, right? I'm finding the fun is not optional at biz. If I want to do things, it has to be fun or I won't do it. Legit. I'm the same. If it's boring, I'm probably not going to do it. If it's a drag, if it's something I don't like, I'm not going to do it. I mean, okay, listen, do I like bookkeeping and taxes? I mean, honestly, I kind of do, because I kind of like filling out the spreadsheets and doing the numbers. Like I actually kind of do like it. I think it's, again, yeah, it's like, it's like there's things that we always have to do. And you've heard me talk about this when we had the restaurant. Everyone's got to clean the toilets. We got to clean the toilets just the same as we got to make food for a fun busload of hockey players that just came in and we're rocking and rolling and having fun with them. Like that's fun. And then also we got to clean the toilets. We got to do both. And so there are things that we may not love, but have to be done. So if we can hire someone to do it, great. Or else how do we make it fun for ourselves? Right. But if it's things that you literally don't have to do, if it's not fun, please stop doing it. Please stop doing it. Justine, oh, you got to leave. Okay. Yes. You can watch the replay later. You're probably already gone. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Okay. Perfect. Definitely not alone. 100% not alone. That's the kind of thing my partner will tease me about, that I always seem to have plans and actions of doing things, but I often feel like there's more I should do. Capitalism. Have you all read the book Do Nothing? Please, I'm getting it right now. Please read this book. What is the tagline? How to break away from overworking, overdoing, and under living. Here, whoops, I'm putting it in the chat for you. If you haven't already, get on it. Okay. Penny, no idea how to do the thing, can't get the proverbial matchmate to get it fired. Amazing, because we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about micro decisions and getting into action today. What is this? I feel the same. I feel guilty watching TV. I feel like I should be productive instead of wasting time. Yep. You come by that naturally. That is capitalism, and honestly, probably white supremacy culture as well. Oh my gosh. Okay. Another book I'm going to recommend right now. Again, you've probably heard me talk about this. Laziness Does Not Exist. If you haven't read this one yet, please do. It talks about where this concept of laziness comes from. It comes from a few different places, but it's not a thing. It's not a thing, people. It's not real. Like gender. Feeling like I'm not skilled enough to improve my website, create the web pages I need to, but I know they need to happen soon. There are lots of distractions around and I'm the only person working on it. Okay. So yeah, that's a really, okay. So write that down, because again, like I'm not going to give you a teaser right now, but it's one of those things where we break it down. Okay. What do I need to do? I need to do a website. What can I do? What can't I do? Or what do I know? What don't I know? Okay. I know this. I don't know this. Okay, great. How can I find this out? YouTube tutorial. Ask a friend, right? If I have the budget to hire, great. If not, I can watch YouTube tutorial. What is the minimum viable product? What is the minimum that I can do to get it out and live and making money, right? Because remember that your website isn't what makes money. It's your actions, right? It's your marketing and your business building activities. A website is just a thing. It's just a thing that hangs out. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're doing strategic SEO, you're creating content, you are like, blogging or whatever, like you can grow up your presence on search engines. You can get some organic reach, but your website is just a thing that sits there, right? It's not the actual activities that will build your business. It's just a thing. It's like saying, I need to get up to Whistler to go skiing, and so that means I have to, repaint my car. Well, but it's the packing of my stuff and driving up to the mountain that'll get me there. Repainting my car isn't going to get me to Whistler. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You have not. Okay. Go talk to people. Talk to someone in the similar field, how they managed initially while working full time. Yes. Yeah. Laziness Does Not Exist is such an important book. Cannot recommend enough. Let's get rolling with books. I love reading and haven't done in a while. I'll have 11 new books that need to open. Yes, let's do it. You know what I do? I do audiobooks. Audiobooks are the best. I mow through audiobooks. I can listen to 5, 6 a month. Every time I'm walking, driving, whatever, cleaning the house, I'm an audiobook connoisseur. Yeah, late stage capitalism is a huge problem. A huge problem. A huge problem. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of examples. All right, we got strategic waiting. Waiting for market validation, right? You have an idea for a new program, but instead of launching immediately, you survey your audience, test a beta version, and refine it before scaling. Okay. Maybe you need to look at building the right foundations. Instead of rushing into ads, you're going to optimize your organic marketing and email list first to ensure you're not throwing money into the void. And we actually just talked about this in a group networking thing I was at on Wednesday, because somebody was wanting to spend a bunch of money on, I think it was like $1,000 to be a part of something. I don't remember. Anyways, but as I was asking questions, we were realizing that they hadn't even exhausted their organic marketing and getting in there, networking, building collaborations, building partnerships, getting referral partners, connecting directly with their clientele, engaging in public speaking opportunities where they're getting into new audiences. Like, they hadn't even tried doing those things first. And that's a really common thing for people to do. They want to start putting money behind things. They want to pay other people to figure it out. There's a lot of fear around that outreach, right? And so before, you just go throw a bunch of money in, you've got to look at, have I exhausted every other thing that I could possibly do if you don't have that money? Because the question you always have to ask yourself, by the way, this is a bit of a tangent, before you spend money on marketing or advertising or whatever, you have to ask yourself, can I afford to throw this money down the toilet? Because when you're spending on those things in your early months, a lot of that money is just going down the toilet because it's just, you're figuring out what doesn't work in the beginning. So you have to say, can I sustain this over, 6 to 12 months? And can I afford to throw this money down the toilet? Will it affect me? Right? And if the answer is no, well, then there are probably free organic things you can be doing first, right? But the other thing is, and I talked about this, I worked with a marketing agency a few years ago, and I was getting lots of traffic, but no conversions. I think I got one conversion in like the 9 months we worked together. No conversions. Well, I had to really look at, where was my website off? Were my sales funnels off? Where was my email marketing off? Were they even targeting the right people? Were the right people even going to my website, right? So again, we need to make sure our foundations are right. And this is why we can't just skip into paying ads and doing digital marketing and all these things when we haven't even figured out if we're attracting the right people, if our website is going to convert, are we selling the right thing, right? We got to get our foundation secure first. The other thing is pausing to prevent burnout. That's a legitimate strategic reason to pause, to avoid burnout, right? You recognize you're running on empty. Okay. So you prioritize rest and delegation before taking on new projects. That is a viable reason. And I have done that too. I remember once I was going into a launch and I was like, you know what? I don't got it. I am exhausted. I am like, I can physically and mentally feel the impacts of this. I need to delay this for 6 months. I need to get myself better. And so what I will do is go into like status quo, right? What's the minimum things that I can do? What can I take that comes my way, right? And I just need to just pause for a minute because I cannot push right now. But then if we looked at the fear-based procrastination, right? 3 things: that perfectionism paralysis. You keep tweaking your website, course, or social media instead of launching because you're afraid it's not good enough, right? You're avoiding sales calls and visibility, right? You tell yourself you'll start promoting once you have just a little more clarity, right? But the truth is, it's like a nervous system thing. I'm afraid of rejection. I cannot put myself out there. And then the overthinking instead of action. You have an opportunity to pitch yourself for a podcast, let's say, but you convince yourself you need to do more research and you miss the deadline. Anyone else done that? I'll tell you right now, that is my hugest, biggest thing. It is the overthinking instead of acting. And this is something that I'm working on for myself because I get stuck in overthinking. It's got to be just right. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. And then I'm like, oh crap, it's done. The deadline's gone. I totally missed it. Who's had that happen to them? Who's experienced that? That is a painful one. And that's why I say self-sabotage. Overwhelm, procrastination due to overwhelm and overthinking, that is a form of self-sabotage, whether we know it or not. And so that's where we talk about being aware, being tuned in, right? Deadlines are the death of you. I mean, all my neurodiverse babies, deadlines are the death of us. I just had a VIP day with one of my business besties where I had her set up a system for me for tracking all of the launches and summits and bundles that I'm doing, that I'm participating in. I need to be organized, and we need to figure out an organizational system that works for me. Side note, having the new Google tabs where I can save things to a tab and have everything in one tab, and then I can just collapse it when I'm done and open it, and like all of my forms, all of my trackers are there. Groundbreaking. Because one of the biggest things for me is going to find the information I need once I put it away somewhere, right? Out of sight, out of mind. Oof. Yes, I have done that. Yeah, I think we've all probably done that. Yep. Or like there's this thing where I really want to pitch for this thing, but it's got to be perfect and I can't do it this year, so I'll do it next year. And then they change the qualifications to be able to pitch, or like what's it called? That word, not qual, that word. Okay. I don't qualify anymore, so I can't pitch. It's like, dang it. Dang it. Yeah, I want to do thing by day passes and it's not done. Yep. And that could also be a sign that we're taking on too much, right? We're taking on too much. Oh yeah. I'm like, I want a decent description or whatever, right? Okay, I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but that's okay. But yeah, right? Yeah, productions. LOL. Yup. Damn it. Tab groups is the best thing since bookmarks, because yeah, out of sight, out of mind. Yep, I love it. Same with like if I have to, like, like sometimes your computer restarts, you don't want to lose all your tabs, and most of them save, but sometimes they don't, and you're like, where did it go? Boom, it's all there. Best thing ever. Okay, so right now, let's talk about a decision-making formula, okay? So that you can start tapping into that. And then I want us to make some micro decisions today and make a small action plan, okay? So how to know which one you're doing, right? You need to be asking yourself, is my waiting based on a clear strategy, data, or alignment with my business goals, okay? Or am I just avoiding discomfort, uncertainty, or potential failure? So those are the questions, all right? And I feel like, you know what? I feel like already from what you all have told me, we know the answer, but I want you to write that down now. Look at this decision, look at this point of action, ask yourself, are you waiting based on clear strategy, data, or alignment with your business goals? Something's not clear, you got to figure something out there, right? Or are you avoiding discomfort, uncertainty, or a potential failure? Write that down for yourself. What is it? What is it? Decision-making formula, leap or pause. Okay. So this is when I want to talk about things like hesitation versus intuition, right? When are we hesitating out of all of the things we just talked about? Or when is our gut saying, whoa, hold up. You're missing something. Something isn't working. Something isn't right now, right? So do you know the signs of when your gut is nudging you forward or holding you back versus fear? Do you know your signs? Oh, with respect to pitch or joining program. Okay. Sometimes y'all use acronyms. What did they say to me? I forget what the acronym was, but I could not figure out what it meant. I was like Googling it, and I cannot figure out what this acronym means. So, do you know the difference when your gut is nudging you forward or telling you to hold back versus your fear? The 70% rule. Have you heard of this before? It says, if you are 70% sure that you have a plan, it's time to move. And it doesn't have to be a full-on move, but we can start taking some micro actions in that direction. Because there are times when you need to learn some skills, you need to do some research, you need to get some answers. There are other times where you're 70% of the way there, and the only way forward is to start getting into action, right? There's nothing more you can learn. We're now at a point where we're guessing or we're overthinking, and we need to get into action so that the rest can play out. Emery, for me, when I'm flip-flopping about it, I know I need to wait. Yes, when the flip-flopping is there, I need to wait. And then And then in that waiting, we have to say, is my flip-flopping a fear, an insecurity, an overwhelm, or is my flip-flopping, I literally don't know? And we can't just stop in the wait. We have to ask ourselves, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to move forward? Like I just was saying to Yancy Jancy, do we pronounce the J in your name? Oh my God, don't get mad at me. Jancy, right? You pronounce the J. Anyways, like we were just saying, if you're stuck, go find the answer, go talk to people, go figure that out, right? So we can't just stop in the waiting. Why are we waiting, right? And I think this kind of comes back to, do you want to take action? And that is a big one, right? And was it Megan that said you won't do things you don't like doing? Like, do you want to take action? And that's the biggest thing. And I think if you were to put at the top of your page, do I even want to take action on this? There are times where when I'm holding myself back, if I ask myself, do I even want to do this? I actually realize the answer is no, right? Or if the answer is yes, okay, then let's start making some micro decisions and taking some micro actions to start moving forward, right? It's okay to say, I don't want to do this. Remember that where there's a will, there's a way. All right. If there's something that you want to have happen, but this isn't the way forward, you will find a different way forward. Right? Yes, the J. Yes. I was like, no. Thinking the etymology of your name. I'm like, no, the J is pronounced. Awesome. Sometimes it's also trying to find resources that are of high quality but affordable. Yeah, exactly. And so if financial inaccessibility is an issue, again, then how do we find our way? What is the minimum viable product we can create with what we've got, right? Or is it a matter of pre-orders so that you can get money to buy the buy the things you need, right? I'm getting better at recognizing whether it's my gut or anxiety. And I feel like it's going to be a long road though. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time to tune into this stuff. Okay, good. I pronounced that correctly. Well, in my heritage with Ukrainian and Russian. And so a lot of times the J's are not pronounced or it's a y sound, same with in Spanish. So all of a sudden I was like in my head about, wait, I know I do pronounce the J. Okay, so let's talk about this regret test. Actually, no, wait, hang on. Let's do a little accountability. So are you at a point of 70% sure? Are you 70% sure on moving forward and knowing what to do and having a plan? Are you at least 70%? And is the overarching question do I want to do this? Yes. Okay. If that's the case, are you ready to start taking some micro actions to move forward? Allison, I failed to listen to my gut last November and got stuck with a publisher who turned my experience into a bit of a nightmare. Yeah, but I was able to salvage things, but I'm extra tired due to stress. Yeah. The like PTSD of that, or CPTSD, is a legitimate thing. Like I've gone through things where it has been a complete nightmare. I remember when I was relaunching, talking about strategic waiting, when I was relaunching my brand, I shifted from the networking boutique to the radical connector, and I was planning a launch party. And as it was getting closer and closer, things were just starting it was like hiccup after hiccup after hiccup. And it was just no longer flowing smoothly. And I remember even talking to someone and saying, I think I should delay this. I think I should wait. It's not working. Things aren't coming together. And they had said, well, just wait. And at that time, I was still in my people pleasing era. Right. And I pushed through. And this thing, like I had a DJ booked, but there was a basketball game and he didn't allow for travel time. So he was literally stuck in traffic. He couldn't get to the venue. I had a really amazing baker there, like who was going to be making like cupcakes and things, branding. And when they showed up, like they were disgusting. The colors weren't mine. Like I had some others, like I had all these things like booked and planned, and it just wasn't happening. And it was just turning into such a disaster. Now, here's the thing. I should get some pictures. The party was a lot of fun. We had a great time, so much support. It was really good. But what would it have looked like if I had said, hey, we're having some serious technical glitches. We're going to pause this for 2 months, save the new date, away we go, right? It wasn't life changing. I could have changed the date, but back then I had all these ideas of letting people down, looking unprofessional, right? Like, blah, 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 right? So yeah, some strategic waiting would have really helped me there. And that trauma of that experience, all of that stress and anxiety and disappointment and all the things, like it took me months to get over that. Oh, so yeah, strategic waiting. I don't have the clarity I need to move forward. I want to do it. I'm ready to stretch into that space, and I don't know what that looks like yet. Amazing. So then ask yourself, what will help me get clarity, and who is the first person I can go talk to? Okay. Love that. So next is I want to give you one more last thing. I know we're running out of time here. The last thing is the regret test. Okay. The regret test. This is a big one, and it's an easy one. Will you regret this a year from now? Will you regret not taking action and moving forward a year from now? And that is something that I do all the time. When I'm on my deathbed, am I going to regret not having tried? Yeah, I will. Okay, then go. Try. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work? All right, try again. Try something different, right? Let go of your attachment to failure. Let go of your attachment to judgment. Let go of your attachment to rejection. Let go of that shit. Yeah, I get that it's a real fear and a real feeling, but it's not really real, right? Especially when you being so harsh right now, especially when you build up your entrepreneur besties and your community, you realize that stuff's not real, right? Because you've got such a good community and support network, right? So let go of our attachment to fear, failure, judgment, and rejection. Just go. Just try. Just do it, as they say over in Nike Land. So let's talk really quickly about this decision-making framework, and then we're off for the day. Oh, yeah, Chatsy, what are you saying? See, I did it again. Now it's in my brain. I resonated with that, and it's my age now. My intuition is pretty strong, and if I don't resonate with energies of my mentors and their advice in the first couple of sessions, then I am out. Yep. Yeah, trust your intuition. If it's not right, it's not right, and that's okay. Stop trying to force, a square peg into a round hole. Okay, so here we go. We got 5 questions. Get ready. Number 1, what's my reason for waiting? What's my reason for waiting? Strategic waiting. I'm gathering key data, resources, or audience insights to ensure my success. I want this to work. Fear-based procrastination. I don't feel ready, but I can't pinpoint why. So, what's your reason? Then, number 2, strategic waiting. I should tell it to you. Number 2, do I have a clear plan? Strategic waiting. Yes, I have a set timeline or criteria for when I'll move forward. Fear-based procrastination. No, I keep pushing it off with no real deadline. Number 3, if I wait, what's the opportunity cost? Strategic waiting. The delay is intentional and allows me to launch at the best time. Fear-based procrastination. I'm missing out on potential clients, revenue, or visibility. Number 4, am I avoiding discomfort or uncertainty? Strategic waiting. No, I'm confident in my decision to wait because it's a part of my strategy. Fear-based procrastination. Yes, I'm scared of failing, making mistakes, or being judged. And then number 5, what would happen if I took action right now? Strategic waiting. It would be premature and I wouldn't be set up for success. Fear-based procrastination. It might be messy, but I'd learn, grow, and move forward. So when you look at those questions, are you mostly in the strategic waiting zone or in the fear-based procrastination zone? Right? If you're in the strategic waiting, you're making a smart strategic move. Stay the course. Be patient. Patient is a hard thing for me. I'm right now in a space of strategic waiting and it's making me bonkers, but I got a lot of work to do in the meantime, so it's okay. If it is fear-based procrastination, is it time to rip off the Band-Aid and take action? And you know what? Here, let's break that myth. This idea of ripping off the Band-Aid, it used to be thought that it would be better if we had one intense thing of pain instead of slow, delayed pain, right? And studies have actually shown the opposite is true. Ripping it off causes more psychological and physical trauma, right? And slowly, a little bit of pain, slowly over time until it's done, is actually better for us psychologically and physically, and in terms of stress response on the body. So you don't even got to rip the Band-Aid off. Can we just start gently? And that's why I say don't leap out of your comfort zone. Gently take a toe out of the comfort zone. Just a little nudge out of the comfort zone, right? So what do we do next? Let's talk about these micro actions and micro decisions, okay? What is one micro decision that you can make right now? What is one micro decision that you can make right now around this thing? While you guys do that, I'm going to read some more comments. Oh, wait, hang on. Allison, right now, I just want to get my book out. I want to do it right, but I'm trying to make the most of it. Great. So based on that decision-making matrix, where are you following strategic waiting or fear-based procrastination? And what is one micro decision you can make right now? Jancy, I communicate in a professional way, but I'm done with people pleasing a few years ago. Yes, especially when it comes to business, people pleasing should not exist. Yes. You can have boundaries, make decisions that are right for you, make decisions that are right for your business, and still be compassionate and kind. All of that can coexist. That is frowned upon. If I launch my website right away without posting much on social media, starts from a post after I launch. Okay, so that is the question. So I want you to make a micro decision. Being patient is to torture, literally. But luckily, like I said, there's lots of work to do. So I'll be busy. Okay, so that's the micro decision. Right? Can I tell you? I know I'm going to wrap us up real fast. One of the best ways to build your confidence as an entrepreneur is start making decisions. And it's not about one big giant decision that's going to be right or wrong. It is all the micro decisions that lead to the right decision. Do you know what I mean? So if it's like, okay, should I start with social media or should I start with a website? Okay, well, let's ask. We always follow up with a question, right? Let's ask ourselves, what will move the needle? What is the goal? What will move the needle? Okay, then is it website or social media based on that, right? What is my capacity? Okay, okay, so here's the minimum viable product, or here's the minimum that I can do, right? Or here's the maximum I can do this month, right? So it's always going to be, what is the goal? What will move the needle? What is my capacity? All right, what's the decision? I'm actively searching for places to share news of my book, have several interviews and podcast schedule, working on more. Fantastic. So now that we have 1, 2, maybe even 3 little micro decisions that you're already starting to make, what is a micro action you can take? What is one small action? Because we're not just going to say, do a book launch. We're going to go, okay, let's break that down. What is the first thing I need to do, right? Usually it's making a decision. Once that decision's made, what is the action behind that decision, right? Then what is the next decision? And then what is the next action? So before we wrap up here, I would love to hear everybody's micro action. What is one micro action that you're going to take to move you out of fear-based procrastination into action? Let's hear it. What is one micro action you can take right now? Decisions. Love it. Yep. Best way to build your confidence as an entrepreneur is start making decisions. Best way to build your confidence as a person, right? We get so afraid of the impact of our decisions that we never make them. And then life circumstances make them for us, like we talked about with missed deadlines, missed opportunities, right? That's a great way to feel like crap. What is this? All right. Time to go visioning. Yes. Yes. Allison, I've just been avoiding working on my webpage, though. I absolutely need my resources page before the book is published. So that needs to be a priority. Also need help figuring my launch priority. Amazing. So go make your about page and go talk to somebody about getting support with your launch party, right? And learn from my cautionary tale, less is more. Less is more. I'm extra. I'm a very extra person. We're in March, right? I'm putting some links in the chat here for everybody. You can save your seat for next month. We have co-working coming up on the last Tuesday of this month, so you can come save your seat. Want to launch my website on a spontaneous moment after adding minimal final touches? Fantastic. Get it going, and then come share in the Facebook group with us. Carve out time and submit to the thing immediately. Yes, Kyla, do it. Do the thing. All right. If you're not part of the Facebook group, you can come join us here. I would love to hear how things start coming together for you. Create my resources page. Yes. Yep. Done and done. And then the micro decisions then become what should be on the resource page, right? And always think minimum viable product. Just get it up. I want these things. Here we go. Right? If you are not yet part of the ICK-FREE sales membership, come and join. Hang on, let me find it. Come and join that. We have our hot seat business coaching coming up on the last Tuesday of the month. Amazing. Anyone else? So there, I've shared with you links for saving your seat for next month, co-working coming up, the Facebook if you haven't joined, and then come join the membership if you're not already a member. And then I would love to hear, okay, perfect. I know it's one of those things where, yes, I'd love to ditch Meta, but we use the tools that we got, and that's what we got right now. So come on over. All right. What are some other great micro decision, Jancy? Great micro decision. I mean, that's a decision right there. Should we keep the group? Should we not keep the group? Should we build it over here, build it over there? You know what? I've tried for years to build groups outside of Facebook. They just don't. They're so inactive. They're so inactive, and it's very expensive. So we stick with what we got. Literally starting it with the info in my resource section of each chapter of my book. Fantastic. Perfect. Oh, that makes it so easy. Whoops. Oh, I just realized I sent you the ICK-FREE sales system, not the membership. I'm so sorry. Hang on one second. You can also check that out as well. But here's the one I wanted to send you. Sorry, the membership. All right, there we go. Amazing. Friends, thank you so much. This is your last chance to share. If you're sharing, if you've got a micro action you're going to take, I'd love to hear it. If anybody has any ahas from today they'd love to share, now's your chance. I'd love to hear what has rocked your world today. And then we're going to take off. I'm going to have some very late breakfast because I haven't eaten. I can feel my brain starting to yell. I need to do some food. I'm going to have some breakfast. Got a couple meetings today. Got some fun work to do. So this is your last chance. Let's hear it. Any ahas, any micro actions. So proud of y'all for showing up here every month, for showing up for yourself, showing up for your businesses, digging in, doing the hard work, doing the scary work, being cool with each other. Also, is anybody watching Survivor? I need to talk. I've been talking to one of my biz besties, Vera, about it, and they don't watch it, but I'm like trying to convince them to start, and I just tell them all the drama that's going on. He's like, I need to talk about it. And the problem is I'm a part of all these groups, but people watch at different times. So if people haven't watched yet, I can't talk about it because they've not watched yet. Yes, just made my day. Got inspiration for the weekend. I'll have some fun as well. Yes, I love that. Amazing. I can't wait to hear. All right, friends. Then with that, I don't think anyone else has anything else to say. Oh, wait, what's one more thing here? What do we got? We got the idea is that I update it as new info comes out, and it's easier for my readers to follow the links. Yes, and type it out from the book. Yep. Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, exactly. And remember, the things that can evolve, you can continue to update, right? All right, you guys, you rock. Make it an amazing weekend. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for today. And I will see you online.